Welcome back to the WHHI-TV Daily News. Joining me now is Representative Weston Newton. He is here to talk to us about a Supreme Court decision as it relates to education. Something really big kind of just happened. So talk to us a little bit about that decision and how it affects kids in South Carolina.
Thank you, and I appreciate the opportunity to visit with you. A few weeks ago, our Supreme Court, in a 3-2 decision, ruled that the Education Scholarship Trust Fund that had been set up, essentially, it's a scholarship program for underprivileged to provide a scholarship to attend a private institution, violated what's known as the direct aid language in our state constitution.
Okay.
I mean, not only does this have an immediate impact on the almost 3,000 students and their families who were underprivileged in South Carolina, taking advantage of this scholarship opportunity to attend a private institution, a school of their choice, but it also puts at risk and casts doubt on other critical programs that have been around for years, and that is lottery scholarships, First Steps, those other state programs that provide the opportunity to use funds to attend a private institution. Interestingly, so, what I will tell you is I think when we go back to Columbia in January, one of the first things that is on our list of things to do is to deal with this issue as it relates to the 3,000 scholarship recipients immediately. But then also to develop a program that allows this kind of activity. And that is, quite simply a scholarship fund for folks to attend private institutions through a different vehicle. And there are other states that have used tax credits as a way to do it. We've experimented with that in the past. But the House also last year passed a joint resolution to ask the voters to repeal the Blaine Amendment in our state constitution, which is this ban on direct aid to private institutions. And, interestingly, the history of the Blaine Amendment, he was a senator from Maine, tried to propose this amendment at the federal level. In the 1800s, many states followed suit, and it was an anti-Catholic movement to make sure that government wasn't funding Catholic schools. And when you understand the origins of what that language is, you do realize how bigoted that provision of our Constitution is. While there are many who don't believe that private schools should be the recipient of tax dollars, we can look at whether it's the lottery program, whether it's First Steps, or whether look at our neighbors around the country. School choice works. It's a rising tide. It raises all boats. And I believe that the General Assembly is committed to finding a solution to the Supreme Court rule.
Well, it does sound like you have some really interesting solutions to go around that ruling. Talk to us a little bit about the amendment that you did have in the House and to change that wording. And is that something you're going to plan to put back in? Absolutely.
The Speaker was the primary author of the bill. I was one of the sponsors. It came through my Judiciary Committee, and it quite simply was a repeal joint resolution of the Blaine Amendment. And as with any constitutional amendment, the joint resolution has to first pass the House, then pass the Senate, and then it goes to the voters at a general election to approve. The repeal joint resolution passed the House. It stalled in the Senate. They didn't get it out. But in the bigger picture, the repeal of the Blaine Amendment is necessary to make sure that we're safeguarding and protecting those other programs that I mentioned. Not just the Education Scholarship Trust Fund, but also lottery, First Steps, and some of those other programs.
Right. So, yeah, this ruling really could have kind of a ripple effect. So, obviously, going back, as you mentioned, going back in session. So, thank you so much for being here today to share with us about that decision and the action steps that you plan to take in the future to kind of get that back on track.
My pleasure. I hope you have a great day.
Thank you. You too. And there's more to come here on the WHHI-TV Daily News, so don't go away.